There is no such thing as the perfect partner. And this is a lie that we have been fed since we were young, that's reinforced in the media that we see that there is the perfect Prince Charming or the perfect princess that will fit all of our needs and our desires and our wants in a romantic partner. But that is just not the case. That is not the reality of how life and love and relationships work. There is no such thing as the perfect partner. If you are stuck on having a checklist when it comes to love, today is the day where I am going to teach you that that is not a good thing. Having standards in love, that's a good thing. We're not going to have checklists in love. We are going to have standards, and there is a big difference between those two things. And we're going to talk about it today. Hello and welcome. I'm Michaela, and this is To Be Known, a podcast all about authenticity, vulnerability, and connection. You deserve to find a love that is authentic, that is true. And this is the second part to the So You Want to Find Love series. Last week, I posted the first video of this series, So You Want to Find Love. There's two parts to it. The first part is having the mindset to fall in love, to be ready for true, authentic love. That's step number one. But then step number two, you got to look out in the world and see what it is that you want in a partner. You have to become familiar with the things that you need in a partner in order to feel safe, secure, and respected in a relationship, because that's the goal here. That's what true, authentic love is. I want you to become closer to finding your true love and letting go of your checklist, letting go of the superficial stuff that holds you back from finding that connection. You're going to embrace having true standards today. So get ready. So what is a checklist? Well, it sounds exactly like what it is. It is literally a list of specific items or attributes or qualities that you're looking for in a partner. That's usually based on superficial stuff. It's usually rigid and just overall kind of like you're going to the grocery store and you're trying to pick out all of the ingredients for the perfect partner. That's not how it works. On the other hand, standards are non-negotiable qualities that reflect your needs, your desires, your values, and what makes you feel secure in a relationship. When we compare the two side by side, it's really easy to see that a checklist is sort of more based on quantity, where standards are based on quality. When you're looking at a checklist, you're trying to see, how many of the things are they hitting? Whereas when we're looking at someone in comparison to our standards, it's how high of a quality is this person going to add to my life? Are they going to make me feel respected? Are they going to respect my values and my needs and make me feel happy? Are we going to have that emotional connection? That's what you're looking at rather than the checklist of like, are they like my perfect partner? There's no such thing. We're trying to let go of having a checklist and having that be our foundation of how we seek out the perfect partner, because there's no such thing as one. We're more trying to think about how we want to have standards and really see the quality of a person when we are in this phase of dating. Or even if you're in a relationship right now, maybe this is a good refresher for you, because sometimes we can get a little lost, get a little stuck, and just be like, you know what? Is the person that I'm with or this person that I'm dating, are they a person of quality, and are they going to add to my life? Because romantic love is an addition to our lives. The people that we are dating, the person that we're dating in a relationship with, they should add joy and quality to your life rather than take away from. Your romantic relationship is not the essential piece of your life that is missing. And I will say that a million times. I will say it until my voice goes hoarse. So now that we got that clear, let's move on. It's okay to have a checklist of certain things that you'd like in a partner, but it cannot be the end all be all. If a guy that you see on the dating apps is below 5'10" and you're a girl who's like, I need a guy that's 6 foot, still give the guy the chance, even though he's not the height that you want. That should not be a reason why you dismiss someone just because of something that superficial. You should still give people a chance and see what your connection is. That's what we're trying to figure out today, is how you can switch over from being in a place of being a little bit more closed-minded, a little bit more focused on your checklist, a little bit more focused on these superficial things, and transferring over to being more open-minded and focusing on your standards. Because at the heart of this So You Want to Find Love series is getting you ready, getting you prepared for being in the right mindset for love. And this mindset is based on 6 categories. I touched on this in last week's episode. If you want to go there, the link will be down below, but it's going to be based on 6 things. And I want you to look internally, look at yourself, and see what part of this mindset you might be stronger in, what categories you're stronger in, what categories you're weaker in. Take note of it and figure it out later. But the 6 categories that encompass this mindset of being ready for love is having an open heart and an open mind, having emotional maturity, having healthy boundaries, having a willingness to be vulnerable, having a strong sense of self, and having a commitment to growth. These are the 6 things that encompass the mindset of being ready for love. I shared with you that last week, a lot more detail in that video, but today we are just going to be focusing on getting you in the right mindset, getting you away from focusing on a checklist, and helping you realize that standards are where true love is at. So let's dive in. If you are someone who is stuck on having a checklist, chances are you might be struggling with having an open heart or an open mind. It's so easy for us to push people away based on superficial things than it is to give them a chance, than it is to be open-minded. It's really, really, really easy to be closed-minded. It's a lot more difficult, a lot more tedious. It requires a lot more energy to be open-minded because you have to give people a chance. And in turn, you're also giving yourself a chance. So if you're struggling with this, know that it's all about just giving yourself a chance, giving another person a chance, and being a little bit more open-minded when it comes to transferring from this having a checklist to having standards mindset in our lives. If you're stuck on a checklist, chances are you might be having a tough time or difficulty being vulnerable with people, because it is so much easier for us to X out people based on what we think they're going to be like. It's a lot easier for us to make judgments about other people, and chances are the way that you might be judging another person, you might be doing the same thing with yourself. The way that we speak about other people reflects a lot about how we think and talk to ourselves. So if you are someone who is having a willingness to be vulnerable and to see your own imperfections and to allow other people to be imperfect as well, this might be something that you might need to reflect on. And I know this is a little heavy because you're like, wait, I thought we were talking about checklists and standards, but now you're kind of calling me out for these things that I might be struggling with. Well, that's the thing. That's the thing about this So You Want to Find Love series. I'm trying to get you to think about how you can become more open in yourself and more accepting and loving towards yourself, because it all starts within you. Romantic love does not start out there. It starts within you. It starts about getting your mind ready. So you need to change that self-talk about yourself. You need to change the way that you might not be letting yourself be imperfect, and you need to embrace your own flaws, and you need to do the same thing with other people, because no one is going to be perfect. You can't make judgments about them because that is not fair to them, but most importantly, it's not fair to you because you are assuming the worst in people, and chances are you're probably doing that to yourself as well. Just saying. Sorry if I'm calling you out, but I'm just saying. Also, if you're stuck on a checklist, chances are you might be struggling with your sense of self. And this could kind of go in 2 directions. Just as I said earlier, the way that you talk about other people is a reflection of how you talk about yourself. So maybe you are in the mindset where your sense of self is a little bit stronger than other people. Maybe you think very highly of yourself, but you are very critical of yourself at the same time. Maybe you are a perfectionist and you put those perfectionistic qualities onto other people and you try to make them be perfect and you try to make them fit this very teeny tiny little box that you want yourself to fit in and you want other people to fit in. Just rethink that. Kind of have some self-awareness and rethink that and reflect about that. And I invite you to watch last week's episode, as well as some other episodes I have, but that's fine. Having a strong sense of self, it could come from confidence or it could come from insecurity. There's two different ways that happens. When we have a strong sense of self and we're a little bit more judgmental, we're a little bit more, and I can't think of the word, just like hypercritical of ourselves and other people, that comes more from a place of insecurity and you attaching your own insecurities onto other people. Whereas when we have a strong sense of self and confidence, we are reassured. We don't need validation. We don't need a guy to be 6 foot in order for us to like them, because we just like them for who they are as a human being. We don't need to, walk around with a guy who's 6 foot. I don't know why that's my thing for today. I need to come up with a different one. But you don't need to be with a partner that is extremely attractive or extremely fit. You don't need to be with someone who is an outlier of how people actually are. Not everyone is extremely attractive, and that's how life goes. Not everyone is going to look like an Instagram model. That's just life. You don't need to attach your insecurities onto other people. When you are coming from a place of confidence and you have a strong sense of self and you know who you are and you know what you like and you know your values, that transfers out into having standards. Whereas when you have a strong sense of self that's more based on insecurity, that kind of transfers over as looking for a checklist in a partner. But then there's also the concept of having a weak sense of self. And this is something that I've personally struggled with, is having a weak sense of self and just being like, okay, like I'm looking for the type of guy that I've been told I should look for. When you have a weaker sense of self, it's really easy to try to look for someone that kind of fits what you've heard is a good partner, what qualities, superficial qualities you think would make a good partner. And chances are these are not values or desires or things that will make you feel insecure coming from your own self. So developing that sense of self and trying to figure out your values and figure out what you need in a relationship, what you need in a partner through self-reflection and also experience going out and dating and meeting people can help you figure out what it is that you are actually looking for in a partner. Just saying, a lot of information before we're getting into the actual difference between a checklist and having standards. But I want to set the tone as to what it is that you might be struggling with or dealing with. I put some time and attention into, okay, what two types of people, not two types of people, but what type of people might be struggling with this checklist mindset. And if I struck a nerve, good. It might mean that you need to have some self-reflection and really get into this correct mind space before you look for a partner. It's just the reality of what I think is best for you, because I too have done the work. I too have shifted my mindset from having a checklist to having standards, because I was a part of that weaker sense of self category. I'm open-minded and I have an open heart, but I had a hard time being vulnerable and I had a weaker sense of self. And I was just like, what is it that I need in a partner? I don't know, but guess I'll follow like the checklists that I see in all of these podcasts and videos from these people of what I should look for. Anyways, that's enough about me. Let's transition over and talk about checklists and standards today. I am just trying to help you get in the right mindset for you to be ready for love, for you to be ready to find your true, authentic connection, because we all deserve to have this in life. The thing is that we are not taught, that we are not told in the mainstream media, is that we ourselves have to do the work in order for us to find it. And that is the message that I'm trying to tell you today, as well as just throughout the So You Want to Find Love series, is what you need to do, the work you need to do in order to be ready to find love. Because we got to get all of the stuff up here figured out first before we can find the love, because it's what you deserve. But it all starts with you. With that being said, let's finally move on into what is a checklist. So, going into checklists, I've already said that they are based on superficial things, I think at least 10 times already. But just to reiterate, usually checklists are based on physical appearance or socioeconomic status, their income, their job title, where they live, if they have a house, if they don't have a house, if they have a car, if they don't have a car, what kind of car they drive, whatever it is. Oh, how old they are. These things do not tell you how much quality a person has. They are just superficial things. They are things that you can easily recognize about a person that have nothing to do with how good-hearted they are. When you base your search to find love on a checklist, you are limiting yourself from finding an authentic connection. And usually you're basing what you're looking for in unrealistic expectations, because no one is going to fit your perfect checklist. No one is going to fit your perfect partner. That's impossible. Even my boyfriend, I love him so much, but there's certain things that I wish we were more similar on that we aren't. Does that mean that I'm not fully in love with the man? No. I love him despite our differences, and I respect our differences. And honestly, the things that I thought I once wanted on my checklist, I actually realized I don't really care that much. I don't care that we're different in certain ways because I love him and I see his quality of character. Remember, quantity versus quality. Quality is the better option. I'm just saying. Because when you find your authentic love, you realize that no one is perfect. But when you're stuck on this checklist state of mind, you're kind of stuck on this idea of finding the perfect partner. And that's just not the reality of life. Requiring someone to hit every mark on your checklist will only lead you to disappointment. You will be disappointed in other people. You'll be disappointed in yourself. You'll think negatively. It's just all around not good. It's unfair to you and it's unfair to them. When you are stuck in this checklist state of mind, it reduces your flexibility and your ability to grow. If you remember before, one of the categories of being in the right mindset for love is having a commitment to growth. Chances are your standards are going to change over time. But as I said, a checklist is very rigid, and it makes it so that things that might surprise you in a relationship as you get to know a partner, you might X them out. I'm like going to use this like it's X Factor. You might X them out. Oh, wait, not X Factor. America's Got Talents, where they're like, buzzer. You're not allowing yourself to be surprised by what this person might be able to offer in your life. Sometimes in love, you are surprised by the quality and the nature of the person that you are with, especially when you are in a healthy relationship. Things that might have not seemed so important to you at the beginning of getting to know someone end up being your favorite qualities about them over time. Sometimes the things that look very shiny and flashy at the beginning of us getting to know a person end up not being the most important things about them. So that's why a checklist is very limiting, because you're looking at the flashy things of what they can offer you rather than just seeing that for what it is and being like, okay, like you have a good job, great for you. But then over time you learn about their work ethic and their responsibility that they take on, and those end up being the more important things to you rather than the fact that they make, 6 figures. Like it's not that important, but work ethic and responsibility, That's hot. When you are focused on your checklist, it kind of puts blinders on you about what you're looking for in a partner, obviously. It kind of makes you only see the superficial qualities about a person rather than how your emotional connection can be to them. If you're so focused on finding a partner that has the perfect body and that has, a nice laugh or something, I don't know what it is. I'm just making up random stuff at this point. Whatever it is that you are so focused on, it puts blinders on everything else where you're not able to see, oh, do we have a good emotional connection? Do we have shared values? Do we have the same life goals? You might not be focusing on that stuff early on in dating and getting to know someone. You're only looking at the qualities that you think make up a perfect partner. When we are looking for a healthy relationship, our emotional connection to that person is the most important part of a relationship. When you're looking for a partner, you are looking for someone who can support you through the hard times in life, because that is when love is real. You are looking for someone to support you because life isn't perfect all of the time. Your partner's not going to be perfect all the time. You're not going to be perfect all the time. You need to actively be choosing who you want to be with through the hard times. Having abs, having a cute little booty, that's not going to make you happy. It's literally not. When you are looking for qualities in a partner, things that you should be looking for are kindness over a nice body, empathy over a high-paying job, emotional maturity over having a nice space. Those are the things that you should be focusing on, because those are standards. Who cares what they look like? Obviously you need to have some sort of attraction to them, but like the superficial stuff is 5% of what a relationship is, maybe even less. I don't know, but it's so small in comparison to everything else. When we are so focused on finding this perfect partner that hits all of our criteria on a checklist, chances are it is going to only put you in a shallow connection rather than a deep, authentic one. Because someone who is focused on a checklist is probably also going for someone who is focused on a checklist. And chances are both of these people aren't really looking for an emotional connection, but then over time, that resentment and that regret of not focusing on the emotional connection between two people, that shows up. And it's just a matter of now or later. So try to focus and see if the emotional connection is happening right now with the person across from you, rather than wasting your time and figuring out later down the line, like, oh, like maybe I should have chosen a partner that, was a little bit more empathetic rather than had a six-pack. You know what I mean? Now that we got the checklist part of things all squared away, and you're probably sitting there thinking, oh, maybe having a checklist isn't the best thing for me to do. Let's get you in the mindset of, okay, let's figure out my standards. Let's focus on my standards, because I'm giving you a little bit of tough love today. I'm kind of putting things a little bit more bluntly than I have in the past, just because I want you to really realize today what it is that you need to do in order to be ready for love. I've said it multiple times already. Standards are based on your fundamental needs in order to feel secure and loved and respected in a relationship. Your standards are the things that basically make it so that you can feel okay in love. They reflect your own self-respect, because if you know what you need in love and you allow yourself to look for a partner who can give you what you need, and you won't settle for anything less, wow, that takes a lot of self-respect. And that is something that I personally have had to learn. And when you are trying to find a partner, standards are the foundation of just your ideal partner. There's no such thing as the perfect partner, but there is someone that can come into your life that can help you in so many ways that you might not even realize you need help with. And that's not to say that partners are here to help us grow and feel loved and take care of us and nurture us. That's a part of being in love, is that those things happen in love. It's not our partner's responsibility, but you're looking for someone who can help you in any of the ways that you need to feel secure and loved and respected. That's what they are there to do. So you have to look for someone that can fit your needs. Standards reflect how you believe you deserve to be treated in a relationship. That's the truth of it. Emotional compatibility is big. You want someone who can help you when times get rough. Just as I said earlier, you want someone who's able to communicate effectively about their emotions and is able to listen to your emotions when you need to talk about them as well. If someone can't handle your big emotions or you can't handle their big emotions, that might mean that the emotional compatibility isn't there. That might mean that maybe emotions need to be worked on a little bit more. Does that mean that you need to X them out immediately? No, that means that you need to have a discussion around emotions and how this is something that you guys might need to work on, especially if you're more in the serious end of dating rather at the beginning. That's just something that you need to work through. And if they're willing to work through it and you're willing to work through it, that means that emotional compatibility is there. It just needs to be worked on a little bit. A willingness to work through challenges and to be supportive of one another and to change and develop and grow over time is a part of that mindset of being ready for love. That's that commitment to growth on the individual and together level of being in a relationship. You want someone who is able to be like, hey, you know what? Emotions are a little tough for me. I see emotions are a little tough for you. Maybe we could work on it together. That's beautiful. That's what you want in a relationship. You want someone who is willing to do the work, who is willing to admit their mistakes, who, doesn't have a hard time sharing with you who they are. That's what you're looking for in a partner. With that being said, shared values is another really big thing when it comes to standards. When you are getting to know someone, ask them about their values. Ask them about what trust means to them. Ask them about communication styles. Ask them about their life goals. Ask them about their goals in love. Ask them about the things that really matter. What do they want out of life for themselves and with their partner? Ask them those things point blank. See if you are on the same page. And if you are, that's great. Having as many shared values as possible is very ideal when looking for a romantic partner, because that leaves less room for, I don't want to say disappointment, but I'm going to use the word because I don't have a better word to use, but disappointment in not being perfectly aligned. Because if someone wants a family and you want a family, chances are someone isn't going to have to give up a little bit of their freedom of having a family is a lot, but no one is going to have to feel like they're signing their life away just to be loved and to love the certain person, if you know what I mean. Shared values are what makes relationships work in the long run. It means that you are both on the same path towards the future, and you guys can go together hand in hand off into the sunset if you have shared values. It makes things a lot easier in relationships when you are on the same page about the important things. As I said earlier, you want to be with someone who wants to grow as a person and who wants to grow with you. Mutual growth is another way that relationship satisfaction can be strong over time in a relationship. So you want to look for someone who wants to grow as much as you do. And a commitment to growth is very important. That's one of the categories that I mentioned earlier about being in the right mindset for love, because you aren't going to be the same person throughout your life. You're going to age, you're going to go through life changes, you're going to go through love changes and body changes and all of these things. You are going to change, and you should be committed to grow with the changes that naturally happen with life. Period. And you should try to find someone who also is willing to grow as well. Another thing when having standards and looking for your ideal partner is having healthy boundaries. You want to look for someone who respects people's boundaries. This can be seen in the big ways, and this can be seen in the little ways as well. You want to find someone who doesn't emotionally manipulate. You want to find someone who doesn't minimize your emotions, who doesn't blame you, who is able to be emotionally mature. That's what you're looking for in a partner. You're looking for someone who respects themselves and who respects other people when they say no, because we're going to say no a lot in our lives, especially to our partner. And you need to find someone who is okay with being told no from time to time, because there are different boundaries that we can have in love and in life. Time boundaries, physical boundaries, mental boundaries, emotional boundaries, etc. There are all sorts of boundaries that we have in life that we need to make sure that when we choose a partner, that they will respect all of our boundaries, because our boundaries are how we protect ourselves, how they protect themselves, and how we have respect in a relationship. Standards are rooted in finding a healthy, compatible love. When you think about everything that encompasses standards, you can see that it really fits that being ready for mindset that I spoke about earlier. That having healthy boundaries, having emotional maturity, having an open mind and an open heart to one another, having a willingness to be vulnerable, to talk about the hard stuff, to share our needs and our desires, our insecurities, our weaknesses, to have a strong sense of self, to know who we are, be okay with who we are, have our values, have our things that we want to have in our own life, and to also want to have those things with someone else and share who we are and our values with another human being that we love, that we respect, who respects us, and that we want to grow with together. That's that last piece, that commitment to growth. That's how we know that we are ready for love, is that we have that mindset and we're seeing someone else who also fits that mindset as well. At the end of the day, when we are in the right mindset to be ready for love and someone else is in the right mindset to be ready for love, there's a reciprocity of love that happens. I see you for who you are, you see me for who I am, and we love each other. There is a balance in what we give one another, the energy, the time, the attention, the support. There is a balance that is respected and that is mutual. They are both able to contribute to the emotional health and happiness in the relationship. There's no such thing as being one-sided in a true, authentic love. And that is all I have about checklists and standards today. I came at it with a lot of energy today because I really just want to get you in this right mindset. We're getting you ready for love because you want to find it. There's a reason why you clicked onto this video. And if you are someone who is stuck in a checklist mentality, you will be able to pull yourself out of it. Maybe today was the realization that you needed about certain things about yourself and what you actually are trying to look for in a partner, because love is out there for you. The person that can give you true, authentic love and you give the same to them, that is out there. That is in your future. You just have to do the work in order to get there. And today is the start of that journey for you. It's now time for the question of the week. What is the most important value that your ideal or actual partner has? Think about it, write about it, talk to someone who you love and trust about it. I will be back next week with another episode for the So You Want to Find Love series. If you like today's episode, please like this video, subscribe on YouTube. You can also listen on Spotify. Give a 5-star review if you're listening on there as well. Follow on Instagram at tobeknown.co. You can follow on TikTok at tobeknownco. Those links are always going to be down below. Thank you again for giving yourself the time and space today to learn more about the difference between a checklist and having standards, because you deserve to find love. And I hope that you have luck on your journey, because you deserve to find it. It all starts with you. Stay true to you. Bye.